Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been away for quite a long time because I've been busy with my office and I was traveling, and plus I also wanted to upgrade my PC because I was using RTX 2080 for the last I think 4 years or 4.5 years, and now I think it was time to upgrade the PC because there were some lags coming and I couldn't get the complete performance from the Microsoft Flight Simulator because the scenery is amazing. You really have to enjoy the flying experience. So that's why I was just waiting to upgrade my system, and finally I've now upgraded my system, got an i9 and processor, and plus RTX 4080 with 16 GB VRAM, which is very good. I've posted one video on my channel in which I've done a flight from from Karachi to Islamabad, and you can just go and watch that, and you can see the performance of the RTX 4080 in ultra settings in Microsoft Flight Simulator. After this change, now I'm making my first video, and this video is for the salty Boeing 747. I'm actually exploring this plane for a very long time, and plus, instead of making one very long video and cramping up all the information in one video, I thought of breaking it into different parts and making different videos so that people, when searching for a specific thing on the internet, they can find this video. This is a type of a video which I'm going to do it for the first time because I've never been good at landing, so landing was never been a topic that I've ever touched. But now, you know, after some time, I've been good at the landings, and I can still land the plane. Not really good, you can call it not a good landing, but it's like an okay landing. And you guys are a better judge. This is one thing which I've not been touching, and once I was doing the series for the salty Boeing 747, I just thought of doing this video and telling the beginners that how to stop the plane once you land it. There are three things that you have to take into consideration. Number one is the speed brake. This is the speed brake. First of all, I'll just tell you the components, and then we will just touch on different aspects of it. So this is the speed brake which you have to engage. Actually, once you engage the speed brake, if I just engage them right now, you will see that on the wings you can see these flaps coming up because these are actually the speed brakes or the air brakes which are used to slow down the plane. So they have to be armed. Number one. Number two, let me just disengage the speed brakes, and number two, you have to set the auto brake to 1, 2, 3, 4 or max, or you can even set it to auto. This is one setting that you have to do because after the plane lands, you cannot totally rely on the braking system of the tires because then there is an issue of overheating, and the tires can burst or they can be fired as well. So the brakes have to be applied in a very cautious manner. If you have a landing performance calculator, you can calculate that how much brakes you need, but for the videos that I do, I use the max brake or even the auto one. Right now the top of descent is approaching, so I will just start the descent, and then from here I will just carry on. Okay, so 6,000 is the altitude that I have to set over here, and now the descent will start. I have a video on my channel in which I have completely touched the descent management and landing procedures with the ILS. If you are not really familiar with that, you can also go and watch that video. not the movie. Okay, it's weekend and I'm watching movies for the past few days, so that's why the movie's on my mind. Okay, and the third thing is the reverse thruster. In reverse thrust, what you do is this: after landing, you see these levers with the thrust. The pilots actually pull them back, and they just apply the reverse thrust. In this, the thrust of the engines is reversed, and once the thrust is reversed, there is a braking mechanism for the plane, due to which the plane stops. You can see it on your screens right now. I have recorded actually this video from one of my previous flights, and you can see the covers of the engines will open, and the thrust will be reversed of the engines, and the plane will come to a stop. So these are the three things that you use to stop the plane. As soon as you activate the reverse thrust, the speed brake is also applied because you have armed them. Right now they are not armed. You will see it in the ICAS over here. the warning system and all the alert system. You can see it on the screen right now. The seatbelt sign is also off. Let me turn it on because I've started the descent. But once I will activate the speed brakes and I will set the auto brakes, you will see this information coming up over here on the screen. The moment I'll touch down on the runway, I will activate the reverse thrust. Now, how I have configured the reverse thrust, let me just show you one thing in the controls. And I'm using the Logitech Extreme 3D, and my reverse thrust is on the button 4. As you can see it over here on button 4, it is configured. Let me just search for it and let me just show you. And you can see hold throttle reverse thrust button 4. Okay, so it is configured over here. Now you can choose any key on the keyboard as well, and if you have a different controller, you can configure the reverse thrust, because the moment you land, you have to activate the reverse thrust. Now there is another thing that you have to do with the reverse thrust is this, that in the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, the controller that I'm using, after I press the button 4 to activate the reverse thrust, I also give a full throttle. Now the reverse thrust has got different positions. It's got a low, medium and high, and it depends upon how much thrust or reverse thrust is required. I usually go for a full reverse thrust. So after the plane lands, I press the button 4 and give full throttle to the plane in order to give maximum reverse thrust to the plane, and the plane stops. So right now the descent has started. We can arm the speed brakes. The way to arm the speed brakes is to simply pull this lever up. Let me just try it. And now you can see, you simply grab it with your mouse button, and then you just pull it up, and the speed brakes are armed right now. And for the auto brakes, you can just go over here and you can set it to max. Okay, auto. So this is it, and as soon as you apply the brakes, you will see that this will come back to the off position. So right now I'm just descending towards the runway 28 left for Islamabad International Airport. Soon I will be landing, and then I will tell you how to actually do these things in practical. Okay, so let's wait for it, and let's reach at the final descent point, which is just before the runway over here. And after this, I will just take you through the landing procedure. Now I'm approaching the final descent point, and finally we are here. As you can see, the plane speed is under control. We have got full flaps for the landing, and the approach speed will be 160 knots. And right now you can see on your screen over here on the navigation display that we are near the final descent point, and plus this ILS indicator is also coming in the middle. We can activate the approach phase right now, and as soon as the plane is within this reach of the ILS, then it will start its descent. And soon I will also lower the landing gears. Let's wait, and that's it. And now the plane will automatically start to descend towards the runway. And just have a look at the landing checklist again. The speed brakes are armed, auto brakes are set to maximum, seat belts are on, and plus I forgot to turn on the lights, so let's turn on all the lights for the landing. Actually, the click regions are very difficult. It's not easy to click. Okay, so all the lights are on right now, and you can see we are just approaching towards runway 28 left. So once again, just 50 feet above the ground, I would just like to tell you this thing also, that I will perform a flare, which is a very short mode in the flight. And in the flare, you actually have to pull up the nose of the plane, because a plane is right now in the descent mode, and it's like you can see it's going down. So once you land, you have to actually pull up the nose a bit so that the speed is reduced, and plus you also reduce the thrust or bring it to idle as well. And then you just pitch up the nose a bit so that you have a smooth landing. This technique is known as a flare. You can perform the flare 30 feet above the ground. You can do this. Just bring the thrust to the idle position, and then you can pitch up the nose. And once the plane touches down, and then you can activate the reverse thrust. The brakes will also come into action, and as I've armed the speed brakes will also be applied. So let's wait for it. I will disengage the autopilot right now, and I will disarm the auto throttle so that I can take control of the throttle. And okay, so reduce the thrust and wait for the touchdown. Now I will push the button 4 and give full throttle, and you can hear the sound. And plus over here on the iCast you can also see reverse is active. So just once the plane is, oops, I pressed the wrong button, my mistake. And you can just like release the button and you can reduce the thrust, and then now you can apply the brakes. And once you apply the brakes slowly, you can see the auto brake is off. I was slightly off the line, the center line, because I was also talking to you and doing different things, so that's why I was slightly off the line. And now you can see by the end of the runway I've just managed to stop the plane, and it was easy to do it. So that's it. And just remember one thing, I'm just going to stop the plane right now over here, and I'll just show you one thing. You can see the speed brakes are still armed. If I go out, you will see the speed brakes are armed. So right now after the landing, you simply disengage the speed brakes, and plus you can bring up the flaps because they are no longer required, and that's it. And then you can proceed towards the gate. So this was a very short video. I just wanted to touch this point because I've never touched it before. If you've got any questions, the comment section is there for you guys. Actually, you have been asking me so many questions in the past few days, and plus you guys have been commenting. I've not been able to answer, as I told you before. I have been away, but now I'll try to be regular, and if you've got any questions, you can ask me. And if I don't answer you, kindly pardon me for that. And plus if you've got any comments, you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Thank you very much for staying with me. Hope to see you soon. Have a nice day.